Chapter 2. The value of building strong, positive, and healthy relationships. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. Henry Ford. True friends are like diamonds, bright, beautiful, valuable, and always in style. Nicole Richie. This is probably one of the longest chapters in this book, as it is the main focus of the title of this book. Building good and meaningful relationships with people takes time, and one has to be patient. During this time, people assess each other's attitude, character, values, and many other things. Trust is also built during this initial phase. I've already mentioned a number of relationships that I created during my early years in the previous chapter. In this chapter, I shall show how these relationships helped me to develop and how I created new ones. I was blessed at a very early age in my life. I knew exactly the career that I wanted to follow and the person that I wanted to become. I remember at 13, in Form 1, in my first accounting lesson, I was stuck with the overwhelming feeling that being an accountant was exactly what I wanted to be. Was it because of the teacher? Was it because of the topic? No. My mother is an entrepreneur and has had a number of entrepreneurial ventures that she has embarked on in order to assist in providing for the family. She has done this together with my father. I had the privilege of being involved in my mother's entrepreneurial ventures from the time I was 8. When I was introduced to accounting, I saw this as an opportunity to properly organize and put my mother's business in order. By that, I mean in terms of how transactions were recorded. Besides, the accountants I knew at the time were driving nice, big cars and were married to beautiful ladies, and I wanted that too. So while I was still in high school, I had already made the decision that I wanted to become an accountant, but I didn't know how I was going to become one. The norm was to finish high school, get good points, enroll as a university student, graduate, get a good job, and that's it. The other option was to finish high school, get good points, enroll with an accounting firm, start articles, and qualify as a chartered accountant. My sister Raksha Marara had been introduced to Junior Chamber International by her friend Cosmas Mokungatu, and she saw JCI as a great opportunity for networking and personal development. She shared with me some material whilst I was in advanced level and encouraged me to consider joining JCI as soon as I was done with high school. I went through the material and was overwhelmed at the time. Soon after finishing high school, Raksha invited me to an opening night for JCI City. This was being held at one of the fancy hotels in town, Crown Plaza. I went there formally dressed, and what I saw that night was an experience of a lifetime. The speeches by the guests were powerful. As for the leaders, well, they were certainly inspirational. The room was full of like-minded young people, smartly dressed and energetic. I had a chat with Simbarashe Goa, the 2015 JCI Capital President, and he invited me to another opening night, which was being held the following week at the same hotel. The following week seemed to drag, and I couldn't wait for that evening's event. This was in January 2015, and my advanced level results came out the same day when the opening night was being held. I went first to collect my results, formally dressed. I had done well. The bad news was, due to this bottleneck system in Zimbabwe, the points were not good enough for me to enroll for accounting at the university that I wanted to go to. They were also not good enough for articles, at least at the accounting firms that I had done research on. One required straight 15 points. I left my former high school, everyone congratulating me for the good results, but deep inside me was a feeling of deep despair. As things stood, there were limited chances of me pursuing my dream, and now I had to consider doing something else. That feeling almost tore me apart. I turned up for the opening night, pretending as if all was well. Adversely, all was set and on point for that meeting too. Before the meeting, people were standing up, introducing themselves, and saying a few things about themselves. This was obviously to buy time. When it was my turn, I stood up and confidently introduced myself. I thought of sharing my results and decided to do so since I knew I would lose nothing anyway. I also mentioned that I was sad because I thought I was no longer going to pursue accounting. There was that moment and everyone expressing some sympathy. The next person introduced themselves and the meeting continued. After the meeting, Paul Mujuru, one of the JCI Capital members, who has become a close friend and mentor, came to me and said, "Congratulations, man. I'm so proud of you. If you still want to do accounting, you can consider studying with the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. It's a really good program. Check out their website. It's www.acccaglobal.com. In fact, I'm working at ACCA local office, so you can come tomorrow and register as a student. We have a promotion that we are running and registration is free." I did research on ACCA and found out that it is a global accountancy body which offers flexibility since you can study it from anywhere in the world. It is comprehensive and, most importantly, recognized worldwide. Your guess is right. The following day, early in the morning, I was there at ACCA offices and got registered as a student. After the registration, the same guy who had invited me to register offered me something more. "My guy, there's this new accounting firm. They are enrolling advanced level graduates for an internship program. Interns get to be mentored in preparation for their ACCA examinations, get practical working experience, and qualify as chartered certified accountants. You can consider applying too. You will need a reference letter from your headmaster. Here are the application forms." I hate procrastinating, so soon after that, I went straight to my former school to get a reference letter. As soon as I got there, my headmaster said, "Mr. Mubu, thanks for coming. I was looking for you. There's a gentleman who came this afternoon looking for you." This was Mr. Madoda, FFG's services manager. He explained to me about an accounting internship that they are offering. "I think you should definitely go there. If you don't take up this opportunity, I don't know what else you're going to do. Let me sign your reference letter." To cut the long story short, I discussed the opportunity with my parents and applied for the internship. I never thought I was going to make it, but I remember receiving a call being invited for the interviews. I went for the interviews and I made it. Sadly, a month into the internship program, I made a decision to stop attending JCI meetings and focus on my career and come back fully 3 years later after finishing my studies. This was before I had attempted even a single ACCA examination. Everyone around me was expressing how difficult ACCA examinations are and how one needs to be so focused. It is said that some people express their own fears and inabilities in a way as if they also apply to you, and if you're not careful, you will listen to that and join the 90% majority and become mediocre. Be careful of the kind of people that you seek advice from and who you associate yourself with. Funny enough, I went on to receive 2 certificates of achievement from ACCA for obtaining more than 85% in my first ACCA examination, Accountant in Business, which I had 86%, and the third one, Financial Accounting, with 91%. During that period, when I stopped JCI, it was my first time working, and I thought I wouldn't manage working, studying ACCA, and JCI at the same time. I dropped JCI before I was even inducted as a member and focused on my studies and work. Indeed, I gave 110% into every assignment that I would get at work and sacrificed JCI, family, and personal commitments in order to get as much experience as I could. In January 2018, exactly 3 years later from my first encounter with JCI, I came across a flyer for that year's opening night, which was being held at Miku's Hotel. It was a eureka moment. It brought good memories from way back. I turned up for the opening night, and like any other JCI opening night, it was lit. This is the same year that a good friend and mentor, Victor Mpofu, was JCI Capital's president, and the Zimbabwean business mongo, philanthropist, and the founder of Kingdom Bank, Nigel Chanakira, was the guest of honor. The speeches were on point, unpacking stories of impact, the role that we should play as young people, and the benefits of being a member of a youth organization such as JCI. I started regretting all the time that I had lost when I left and the development opportunities I missed. I looked at my professional development plan, and it was clear that there was never going to be a moment when I was going to be free to join JCI. Studies were always going to be there, as would be work, family, and much more. It was not getting better. If anything, it got tougher as I grew older, with many additional responsibilities coming my way, and all I had to do is learn how to balance and manage them. That night, I made a conscious decision to work hard and get inducted as a member and not miss any JCI meeting or event. Trust me, since then, those have been the best years of my life. An opportunity came to serve as the Vice Project Director for Green My World in the same year, with Tinashe Mukarobwa as the Project Director. A project that was aimed at providing environmental awareness and fight climate change. The highlight was environmental awareness training in schools and the annual JCI Capital High School's Green Quiz that was held at Roosevelt for high schools. I attended all JCI Capital meetings held in 2018. In addition, I made efforts to also attend other meetings held by other JCI local organizations in order for me to learn as much as I can and get to meet and interact with as many people as I could. That same year, I had the privilege to travel to Binga for the 2018 JCI Zimbabwe Media Convention, Recharge, in Binga. The journey was long, but it was fun and worth it. Binga took me by surprise, as I got to see how beautiful the town is as compared to some bad publicity that is circulated at times. Binga has cheerful people, great sceneries, the magnificent Zambezi River, and hot springs too. During that recharge, we got to participate in a community project spearheaded by JCI Harare, aimed at building classroom blocks for Zalo Primary School. Students at that school were learning under trees, some thatched structures, and sitting on some uncomfortable seats made from trees. Students walk on average 5 kilometers to go to school, and during the raining season, they don't go to school, or if it starts raining whilst at school, they are asked to run back home. It was an eye-opening experience for me. I got to appreciate every little bit that I have in my life and not to take it for granted. Sometimes we always wish we had more, not knowing there are others that have way less. I was shocked though that as a country we still have such backward situations despite the outrageous corrupt activities reported day in, day out, featuring those in power aimed at making them excessively rich, totally forgetting the marginalized groups in our society. The beauty about JCI, it does not blame the government, but takes on responsibilities in building our communities. We had an opportunity to participate in molding bricks for building school blocks. To date, some significant progress has been made with regards to that project, and special thanks to JCI Harare for taking up such an initiative. During that time in Binga, it is when I got to realize that JCI in Zimbabwe is much bigger than I thought, with many members across the country. We had a great opportunity to learn, interact, and exchange ideas. When we went back to Harare, indeed, I was recharged. Before the year ended, we were in Nyanga for the JCI Zimbabwe National Convention. It was my first time to witness how National General Assembly is chaired, and the JCI Zimbabwe National President, Dr. Xolani Ndlovu, did it spectacularly. I came back from the JCI Zimbabwe National Convention in 2018 with 2 national awards. I was the National Public Speaking Champion and the Most Promising New Member for that year. The former award got me sponsorship for my registration to represent JCI Zimbabwe in the area Public Speaking Championship at the 2019 JCI Africa and the Middle East Conference in Mauritius. I wouldn't have done it all without the support and guidance from family and fellow JCI members. Unfortunately, my grandmother fell sick in the following year, a week before I had to travel to Mauritius. I went to see her in hospital, and I couldn't believe the state in which I saw her in. It disturbed me. I even thought of cancelling the trip. Days went by, and I remember receiving a message out of nowhere from my uncle saying, "I know your grandmother is not feeling well, but she will be so proud if you go and participate." That message gave me the energy I needed at the time and made sense knowing how my grandmother was so proud of each and every one of my achievements. Soon after receiving this message, I made my travel plans and booked my air ticket last minute. Air tickets were sold out for the flight on a Saturday for me to arrive on Sunday, 28 May 2019. The 28th was the day the Active Citizenship Academy was starting up to 30 April, and the conference started on 1 May to 4 May 2019. Air tickets were sold out. I remember a fellow JCI member who was working for a travel agency, Eunice Zwitiki, and her colleague Chido played a pivotal role. Somehow they got me the only available ticket that was left for the route, which was for the following day on a Thursday. This meant that I was going to be 2 days early for the event, but I had no option but to take it. Preparations to leave the following day were hectic. I remember I arrived at the airport late, almost an hour after the official closing time for check-in. However, when I got to the airport, check-in was still open. I was advised that the flight had been delayed by 4 hours. Whilst everyone else was complaining, you can only imagine how I felt. Surprisingly, some fellow JCI members who booked the right flight that I was supposed to take on a Saturday experienced a delay by a day and didn't make it for the Active Citizenship Academy. Little did I know that booking the ticket late and arriving way early in Mauritius was a blessing in disguise. Whilst in Mauritius, I made efforts to keep myself very busy to avoid feeling sad, thinking of my grandmother who was sick in hospital. I attended every training and side event that I could. I was in conversation with people from different countries and made friends. Unfortunately, I lost in the public speaking competition. Despite that whole experience built my character, got me exposed, and made me become a much better person. My grandmother and I were so close. Growing up, she would sacrifice her last cent to put a smile on my face and see me move on with my career. In return, I would work so hard to assist her with some errands, and I couldn't wait from time to time to share with her my achievements and see that genuine smile on her face. Unfortunately, she died upon my arrival at the airport back from Mauritius. It is not easy losing a close relative that plays a cheerleader role in your life and gives you that energy to keep moving. 2019 was a difficult year. However, I tried my best to remain optimistic. 2019 was the same year that I had an opportunity to serve as the JCI Capital Vice President individual in charge of membership with a very cheerful local president, Nomalanga Chipare. It was a very fruitful year with a total of 16 training sessions offered in a year and 19 new members inducted. Being a fan for traveling and networking, I also attended the 2019 Recharge in Marondera, a national convention in Gweru. In 2019, I received 3 individual JCI National Awards. The awards were the Most Outstanding Member, the #Impact Award, named after the 2019 JCI Zimbabwe National President, Laura Pamela Tigere's theme, and came 3rd in the National Public Speaking Champion. All that recognition and awards came through a lot of hard work, but despite that, I couldn't have done it alone. I had to ask a lot of questions, seek mentorship and help from those that had walked the journey before. These are a few of my personal stories, where people contributed directly or indirectly for me to achieve my personal goals. I know you have yours too. Let's review this. A number of people played main actors in my story. My sister, the JCI colleagues, and my headmaster. If it wasn't for the good relationships that I had with these people, I might have not achieved my dream. For me, this proves that as we maneuver through this journey called life, whether we like it or not, there are always going to be people around us that will be playing significant and important roles. And knowing how to deal with these people is an important skill. I have recently become a member of the Executive Toastmasters Club since March 2020, after visiting the club for the first time in 2017. I like the people and how they are organized and conduct meetings and the opportunities provided by Toastmasters for one to improve communication and leadership skills. When I took the online pathways test on the Toastmasters website, to my surprise, strategic relationships came out as the recommendation out of 8 paths available because the relationships rank highly on my values list. It is during the time when I was attending Toastmasters meetings as a visitor when I met Ashley, who then introduced me to her husband, Trinos Longo. Trinos then became my public speaking coach and mentor. Over and above that, he inspired and motivated me to write this book by taking me through steps on how to come up with a book, as he has successfully written 2 great books. Since 2018, I've been visiting the Rotaract Club of Harare West meetings too. I like being amongst a group of self-driven and like-minded people working together for a worthy cause. I've made friends with Tinomo Tenda, a very intelligent, supportive, and open young man, and Dorothy Pasipanojka, a great lawyer and inspirational person who has achieved a lot at a young age. One would wonder how I manage to attend events at all these great organizations. I believe that people always create time for the things that they love. I'm rarely at home early because it's either I'm attending a meeting, training, or event somewhere. I love networking and building relationships with people. Not all my relationships have been rosy. I've messed up at times and derived lessons from that. I've made it my goal to make an effort to build good relationships with people. Good relationships take time to build, but you need to be patient and sincere. Again, if you pretend and overdo it for the sake of getting something from someone, it's either they will notice it and get disappointed, or you might fail to get exactly what you were targeting and you will get disappointed. For example, in hard times like this, you might befriend someone because of their high position at their workplace, hoping to get a job, and you never get one. You might get frustrated. However, instead of assisting you with a job, that person could play a part in your personal and professional development, and in the process, make you better positioned for employment. You could get skills relevant for you to start a business, enabling you to be an employer and not an employee. It's key not to be myopic and not to have a tunnel vision. The long-term benefit is much more important than the short-term benefit. Getting a $100 bill from someone's pocket could solve your immediate problems, but you could come back begging for more because it's not sustainable. Healthy relationships are a two-way process and mutually beneficial. Both parties need to play a part or contribute to each other's lives. The next time you find yourself nagging someone for partnership, mentorship, friendship, love, or any form of relationship, consider asking yourself what you are ready and prepared to bring to the table. It might not be financial, but you need to be innovative, creative, and willing to sacrifice. By the way, this again should not be a barrier for you not to talk to that person, but just have that kind of a mindset. The last thing that you would want is for you to end up being chased away or a person running away from you because they already know your story before you say it. You need money or you want to ask for something. Be ready to give something. If you can, give more than you receive. You will earn much more respect. What kind of people can you consider building good relationships with? This could be your family, friends, and other people who are more experienced and better than you at something. Family. Your family is more important. It is unfortunate or fortunate that we never get to choose our parents or siblings. However, in many situations, you'll find that your family will always be there for you at all times. Play your part in maintaining good relationships with your family members. It might not be easy at times, but with enough effort, you can achieve some good results. There are no benefits that come from being enemies with your family, as it only creates unnecessary and unproductive tensions. Friends. Have good relationships with your friends. Some friends with time become like family because of the strong bond and positive contribution in your life. The opposite is true. Some friends can lead you into disaster and you wish you never knew them for the rest of your life. The bottom line is one has to be sober and very conscious when choosing the type of friends to associate with. Junk in, junk out, full stop. Better people. You'll find that there are individuals that you always admire in life. This could be because of their skills, achievements, possessions, you name it. These could act as role models or mentors. Get close with them and learn how they got to their stage. It will shorten your way to the top. Normally, these people might not be stingy with information. They might play hard to get, but be patient and always have something to offer too, so that you can get their attention. After everything has been said and done, it is not fair to blame someone for your lack of motivation and success. Nobody owes you anything. If you understand that, you will start taking responsibility for your life and the actions you take. In conclusion, employment, career, travel, and business opportunities have come my way because of a healthy network of relationships. I continue focusing on building and maintaining strong, positive, and healthy relationships with people. Not all are equal in strength, but I make an effort to keep each in good shape. Chapter summary. Good relationships can assist you in achieving your life goals and targets. They can assist you in reaching that sense of fulfillment and make you a better person. Good relationships take time to build. One has to be patient and sincere. Keep your expectations low. You might get disappointed. Mutually beneficial relationships are the best. Be ready to offer something in return. If you can, give more than you receive. Do not be stuck on the other side. No one owes you a favor.